when I started really looking into this, wait a minute, how did people get wealthy? It's not just I showed up, give me stuff, here I am, pay me. It's in business, if you don't provide value to somebody else, you starve. And then I really started studying people who were able to provide value at scale and realizing how they systematize these things. So I'm curious, when you have all these businesses that seem really synergistic in real estate, I'm assuming you don't have all the top-down knowledge of each one of these things, of lending, of how to put a pool into place. Let's say you find you're doing something in real estate, you find somebody who's incompetent, and you say, "Hey, I want to own a business because I can do it better than them." What's that first step? Is it to acquire something that's already doing that and make it better? Is it to call someone who's already in the industry, or is it just, "Hey, I'm going to figure this out myself and just go"?
So that's a mixed bag answer. It really depends on how you're getting in. Okay. But in most cases, everything is going to be who, not how. You want to find the right who that can do the job, that can figure it out. Because most people, how do I explain? They identify, like if you go ask people, hey, what are you about? What do you do? They're not going to say, "Oh, I hang out with my kids and I do this and I like vacations." They're going to say, "Oh, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a fireman. Oh, you know what? I'm a plumber, I'm a baker," whatever. Like they identify with the task they perform. They identify with work. So you want to go find somebody who you have measured the data is the best. And you either want to get that person as a coach or a mentor or a teammate. Like my pool servicing company, I didn't know shit about pools. I knew I liked swimming, and I understood construction and that there was a checklist that you had to follow, and, do it out of order, it's not going to work, right? Because I had other construction companies. So I went and got a pool manufacturer friend of mine who was one of the best pool manufacturers, or probably the best pool manufacturer, bar none, in our town. And he, of course, knew my reputation because of what I was doing in other businesses. And I said, "Hey, dude, how would you like to go 50-50 on this? You provide the knowledge on the business. I'll provide the back end and the structure of the company. And I'll deal with the employees, the staff, the processes, the marketing, and the different flows so that we can increase capacity and grow. You deal with, I don't know what heater we need to install. I don't know what vendor we need to connect with. I don't know which plaster guys are the best plaster guys if we're going to replaster a pool. But you know all that shit because you've been doing it. So you find the who, but you also don't be a stranger to the how. Like, and when I say you don't be a stranger to the how, I like bringing in leaders of companies who are not afraid to do every task in that company. Now, I don't want them doing every task into perpetuity, but I want them to experience every task at least up front. Like every business I've built from the ground up, because on the pool company, I'm more of an investor. It's not my passion. It's a business I own. It's a company I own, but I'm an investor with another guy, and I found a person that was somebody that had already worked for me, that was a great operator, and I put her into running it effectively and invested in her, created an opportunity, and it's growing. It's not a business. Now, if you're in business, this is where it becomes a mixed bag answer to your very good question. If you're in business, you should not be afraid to do anything in that business. Now, the goal is not to do it long term. The goal is to delegate it, but you cannot delegate, if you're a leader, anything you haven't done. So there is a who, not how principle, but if it's your business, go get a who that's a mentor. Learn how to do it. Learn how to do it at least where you can master it cognitively. You don't have to become like a master tile installer if you open a tile business. But if you want to open a tile flooring business and you've never installed tile flooring, go do it for a week. Like, because you should have some passion behind the business you're in. If you can't do it for a week, then don't open that business, because and here's why I say this. If you can't find passion in doing the work that your business performs, whether your long-term goal is to do it or not, then it's not going to be a long-term business for you, because businesses require three things to be a business: passion, productivity, passion and purpose, okay? Productivity and profitability. Those are the three things required for a business. And why I say passion and productivity and profitability: productivity can be measured, profitability can be measured, and you could be in the negatives and knowing, oh, if we do these things, we'll get into the positive. But passion really can't accept in you. You got to be honest with yourself. And every guru I've ever heard out there, a lot of them that I followed at different times, and some of them that I even invested money with, they all said one thing that was absolute bullshit. All of them, like across the board. They all said, the single most important thing anybody has is hustle. You got to hustle your way to success. Oh, dude, let me tell you something, Blake. I got a hot ass wife. She walks into the bedroom wearing lingerie. You know what I don't got to do? I don't got to be like, how do I hustle? How do I figure out my fucking hustle? That's never fucking happened ever. Like, I'm passionate about this woman. I love this woman. I'm fucking there, right? So I don't have to hustle my way to success if it's something I'm passionate about. So when you're getting into your first business, make sure it's something you're passionate about. Now, you should at each point be learning it, doing it, then delegating it, learning it, doing it, delegating it, learning it, doing it, delegating it. If you're so talking to the serial entrepreneur, I'd be like, yeah, go find the right operator. But like, I'm going to guess you're 25, maybe?
22. 22.
Okay. So most of your audience, if they're going to be like you and they're in their 20s, they're not that serial entrepreneur, at least not yet. Like they might have one or two small businesses or three small businesses, but they probably don't have $100 million companies right now. They're probably other 20-year-olds. So they're in this kind of startup or operational entrepreneur phase. They need to delegate, they need to master. Like, because anything you've mastered, fuck, dude, you can delegate that shit. Like, I can teach anyone sales, but I've sold tons of shit. I can teach anyone negotiations, but I negotiate all the time. Like, I can't teach what I've never done, and I can't go pretend that I can be successful at something that I have no passion in. And a lot of the biggest mistakes that the 20-year-old generation people make is they'll get into something for the money. They'll get into something for the freedom. If you're getting in for money or for freedom, dude, you're fucked. You get in for passion. You can find money in anything. That's a fact. And once you find money in anything, you can find freedom in that. Like, I know people that have the weirdest businesses. I know a guy that like literally tests video games. That's his business. It's his fucking business. It's a video game tester. And he's got like 3 or 4 different people that work for him and they test games for all these companies. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, talk about everyone's dream. Like when I was a kid, how do you get into that niche? There's a niche for everything. Okay. You know what it turned out his business was? Feedback. His business it wasn't testing the game and having fun. He's literally a shit talker and a feedback delivery specialist. He goes in and finds ways to talk shit about the best games on the planet and provide feedback to the producers and the software developers from a gamer's point of view and solves the gamer's problem before the gamer ever sees the fucking game. And like, talk about a business. He found money in something that should be impossible to fucking find money in, and he found it. And now he's got 3 guys that work for him, and he's traveling the world and partying his ass off, and those guys are playing video games for a living. And dude, money and freedom's everywhere, but you can't get into it for that. You get in for passion.
Right. Well, in fact, I understand why someone would pay him. That's actually my business, is we make virtual reality video games right now. Now we're moving into the enterprise, but that's a pain point of us, is how do we know we're not building something that's not fun at all and it's dead on arrival? So you have to test, you have to face that feedback and not be afraid of it, and really asking the question, okay, we're wrong. It's just a matter of to what degree we're wrong, and this could be more fun. And that's something that companies would absolutely pay for. You're right.